was a lot like the froggish creatures seen back in the 50s. And everyone was roaming around in Cadillacs with greased back hair, singing doo-wop.
Doo-wop.
That's right.
We're back.
We are back.
It's
I know.
been
It's I miss all our viewers. I've missed talking about creepy facts.
I know. I've missed talking about ghouls and goblins.
I'm really excited for this one, by the way.
All right.
This is probably my favorite cryptid. We're doing a cryptid. We've done aliens. I did a possession case in the Halloween episode. Today, it is a cryptid. A frog cryptid.
James has a thing for frogs, guys.
I have a thing for little creatures. You'll see in this. But I love the Loveland frog from Ohio. When people come up to me and they ask me like, "What's your favorite cryptid?" Happens a lot, all the time. I will always bring up the Loveland frog because who wouldn't love
the Loveland frog?
Yeah.
Take it away.
So this is an Ohio cryptid, one of the most famous ones in the state. The first sighting was in May of 1955. It was a lonely stretch of road near the Miami River in Claremont County, Ohio, at about 3:30 in the morning. The witness was a businessman named Robert Honeycutt, and he claimed to see 3 bipedal reptilian creatures by the roadside, kind of under a bridge. And they were just kind of standing there. The creatures were about 3 to 4 feet tall, with gray leathery skin. They had webbed hands and feet, and kind of frog-like heads. So these were not just 3 little people standing under a bridge.
No alien baby.
No. These were frog monsters. One creature... I mean, it does make me laugh, I gotta be honest. One creature held a wand type object that emitted sparks, which apparently gave off the scent of almonds. So, weird story, this first sighting. It kind of just spread throughout town. People would whisper, "Oh, what are those frog people that Mr. Honeycutt saw? They were under a bridge. It was like, what are they, trolls?" You know, everyone was having fun with it. But it was nearly 2 decades before these frogs would show up again. On March 3rd, 1972, at about 1 a.m. on Riverside Road, approaching Loveland, an unnamed police officer noticed what he initially thought was a dog running across the road as he was driving. The creature jumped in front of his police cruiser, forcing him to slam on the brakes. He described it as a frog-like creature that stood on 2 legs, stared at him, then ran over the guardrail and into the Ohio River. Now, the next sighting happened just a couple weeks later. You don't have to wait another couple decades for this next one. A couple weeks later, on March 15th, there was another police encounter, also near Loveland. The witness was Officer Mark Matthews, who spotted what he thought was an injured animal on the road. When he approached, the creature rose into a crouched position. Matthews then fired at the creature, which then moved to the side and crossed the guardrail once again. Matthews described the creature very similar to the way the first officer did. It was a kind of reptilian creature that stood on 2 legs, about 3 to 4 foot tall. It was a lot like the froggish creatures seen back in the 50s. And everyone was roaming around in Cadillacs with greased back hair, singing doo-wop.
Doo-wop.
That's right. Now, that was the last sighting of the bipedal frog creatures. It kind of went silent after that. Aside from one case in Cincinnati in 2016, when a couple playing Pokemon Go claimed to spot a large froggish humanoid. Not a lot of info on that one. I wonder if they even saw one or if they just happened to see a Bulbasaur on their phone, thought it looked like a frog.
Tripping balls.
Yeah. Interestingly, with that second officer who saw the Loveland frog, he later claimed, good frog impersonation, he later claimed that oh, it was just an iguana, like it was over embellished or whatever.
Was it like a tiny?
Well, it was big.
Iguanas on their hind legs are like.
He said it was pretty big, like, but he said, oh, it's embellished, but it was years later he changed the story and
Government.
said, oh, it was just, and that's what was it, or was he just laughed at so much for saying, oh, it was a frog person, that he decided, I'm just going to sound like a normal person and say, oh, I didn't mean that it was a frog man, Did he just retract it that way? Or was he just messing with everyone from the beginning? Who knows? But I do love this story because I like little creatures running around in the woods. Yeah. Reminds me of being a young boy and looking for gnomes,
You bring me joy, James.
That's great. I'm happy. Hope I bring everyone else joy.
I like this story because, no offense, it's ridiculous. What the heck?
Yeah, I think the part about the wand really sends me.
Like, that's my favorite. That was part. Hilarious. I wonder, because I feel as though the smell of almonds has a relation to something.
I think
some
someone
kind
told
of chemical
me,
or something.
There's a smell of almonds that's like a certain
cyanide,
poison.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think there's a certain poison that gives off that scent.
So I'm wondering,
who's doing?
What were those frogs up to?
Yeah, spells with a wand. Yeah. But yeah, I do just enjoy this story. I think it's fun. But I mean, hey, what did that guy see? That first, what the hell is he talking? Why would he tell people this?
Yeah, and I'd still shit my pants if I saw
of course
2 giant frogs with wands. Did they have little hats?
I don't think so.
That's
I wish.
Bad. That's disappointing.
But yeah, I do find it interesting because why would you see, if you saw something like that, right? Or no, if you didn't even see anything like that, why would you just make that up? Oh, this will get me ahead in society. I'll tell a bunch of people that I saw 3 frog people under a bridge with a wand.
Well, you are right there because in the case of, a little off topic, the Anunnaki, which are an ancient alien species. There's a guy, I'm blanking on his name, but he lost his entire family because he stood on the fact that he
was adamant about it.
Yeah, and I guess his wife left him, his kids don't talk to him, and it's his whole life. He's so knowledgeable about it. He pulls from a bunch of different ancient texts that allude to or directly mention the Anunnaki. So I know what you mean. Some people they'll stand on it if they really believe that's what they saw.
Yeah, well, it's interesting.
Frog people, what can you do?
Who knows? So as you guys could probably see, we're in different outfits.
And the scenery is probably slightly different, and the camera angles most likely have slightly changed.
Yeah, the obviously in this episode I talked about the Loveland Frog, the little frog people.
And I talked about something really dark, like a really tragic event in history, and we decided, let's not.
Tonally, it was just too off.
So, they didn't. We're going to talk about something else.
All right. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Hannah's point.
So, my second story is about a woman named Gloria Ramirez, aka the Toxic Lady.
I know this story. That's pretty good.
Well, maybe you guys don't. So on February 19th of 1994, Gloria, who was 31 at the time and suffering from late-stage cervical cancer, was brought into Riverside General Hospital in California. Her prognosis, bad. She was severely ill and doctors feared she wouldn't make it. But the story of Gloria Ramirez is far more than just a story. It's a real-life mystery that has baffled scientists since the early 1990s. You see, as Gloria was being treated in the emergency room, the medical staff around her began to notice something odd. There was a metallic odor in the air, but it wasn't just the smell. Gloria's skin had an oily sheen to it as well, almost as if there was something off about her body or oozing out of her body. That's super gross. Anyways, the doctors and nurses working closely with Gloria began reporting feeling dizzy, feeling nauseous, and faint. And in fact, several of the doctors and nurses actually fainted within a mere matter of minutes after tending to the young woman. One of the nurses who collapsed later said that she couldn't remember what happened after the incident, but that she did feel as though she'd been poisoned. So it was pretty freaky for everyone involved. The same strange symptoms began spreading across the ER staff, leaving them disoriented and pretty terrified because they didn't know what the heck was going on. As for Gloria, she didn't seem to be improving, and eventually her heart rate plummeted and she passed away not long after her arrival at the hospital. But that's when the mystery actually really began. Medical examiners later discovered that Gloria's blood had traces of an unusual chemical compound called dimethyl sulfone, which is a substance commonly found in industrial solvents. Why was that chemical in her blood? No one really knows. There were also unusual signs of many toxic substances in her body as well that really just shouldn't have been there. The doctors were completely stumped as to how this could have happened. Was it something Gloria had been exposed to? Was her body somehow just magically leaking toxins? They don't know. But, maybe she was somehow emitting a literal chemical hazard that caused this dangerous chain reaction of ill hospital workers, one of whom actually died as a result as well. So it wasn't just Gloria's life lost that day. After all this, theories began to emerge. Some suggested that Gloria's body could have absorbed dangerous chemicals somehow from the cancer treatments she had been undergoing. However, that theory is highly unlikely because it's never happened before and it hasn't happened since. Others speculated it could have been a rare reaction to the medication she'd been taking, but again, same story. Unlikely, hasn't happened before, hasn't happened since. One theory, however, suggests that she had been poisoned, perhaps unknowingly, likely unknowingly, and that it had somehow, this poison, become part of her biological makeup. Again, we've never seen it happen, but the government hides things from us, so it's entirely possible. Some of the symptoms the staff reported as well, like the dizziness, the strange smell, were also consistent with exposure to certain toxic gases, including hydrogen sulfide or even phosphogene, I believe, which is a chemical weapon from World War I. So maybe it was a government experiment. Unfortunately, no one could figure it out, and still no one knows how this woman turned into a walking chemical hazard. It just kind of is what it is. It's science, but it's a scientific mystery because we don't know the answer. Hopefully one day we will, but I'm not actually sure what happened to Gloria's body. So
it's a crazy story.
Yeah.
I heard that she might have, because she had cancer.
Yeah.
She it was some kind of thing that she took. She was trying, it was some kind of weird way of possibly curing cancer, like a
treatment or something.
Treatment, but it wasn't obviously,
I mean, but that's the thing, because again, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist myself. It's possible it's a treatment we've never heard of. She was maybe treated in a secure facility and then brought to the hospital. Who knows? Believe it or
not, maybe like a kind of hippie dippy thing, like, oh, try this, like
similar to
herbal
medicine would cause her to
not herbal medicine
chemicals.
though, but like kind of a something that wasn't
like a mad scientist kind of thing in the back rooms or the basement of a government.
And then it reacted
facility.
when they used, because at one point they tried to use the
defibrillators.
Yeah, it reacted with the whatever it was or something like that.
I mean, it's entirely possible.
It's a crazy story.
It is really weird. I would suggest you do more research if you want to learn a little more. Like we said, we only have about 3 minutes to fill you in on like very extensive subjects. Sorry. Believe it or not, my last story was a lot.
It didn't drive well with
No.
talking frog. A lot of they don't talk. They had wands and they did magic. Little frog people.
Little frog wizards.
And you've just seen the episode. You know what I talked about.
Yeah.
Us, it was weeks ago.
We've been on a break.
Yeah.
We were on a break. You ever watch Friends growing up?
No, I'm a Seinfeld guy. Yeah. So, but now we will cut to whoever did the punishment.
So James and I are going to figure out what punishment would be allotted to us if we faltered this round.
Yes.
Oh.
Same punishments as Halloween. It is crickets or a shot with hot sauce, which was pretty bad.
Crickets! I don't know why I'm so excited to eat fucking crickets.
Thank you. All right. I did a weak spin, but crickets as well. It's not going to be interesting enough if it's just crickets. Oh, look at that.
No!
Oh, man.
What?
Can't believe it. I can't believe it. All right.
It's time to vote. Once again, we've filmed these videos before.
We promise the voting will be a thing, folks.
Yeah. The only problem is we had to make videos first.
It's it's one of those things we just didn't think through enough. But you guys will get to vote. Don't worry, it's coming.
But today it's our lovely editors, Patrick and Elizabeth, are going to vote. James is number 1, I'm number 2. We're going to close our eyes and count to 3. 1,
2,
3.
All right.
Sorry, James. Hey, James.
Yeah.
Got you something.
Why don't you tell them what you got there?
For James today, we have a shot of gin mixed with some salsa verde, topped with 2.
There's 2.
Honey mustard crickets. They were stuck together.
Okay.
So.
The crickets were actually my idea. And does that make me, I don't know, does that make me a masochist in a way? Or no, what's the opposite of masochist? Masochist is somebody who likes torturing other people.
No, masochist is
somebody who enjoys them themselves. Okay. So I guess that's, I was
My
right.
little masochist. Don't send me My Little Pony.
It smells interesting. All right. Down the hatch, as they say. I don't know why I'm smiling. All right.
I heard the crunch.
Oh. Oh, that was worse than the
Than the Halloween episode?
that was worse than that one.
Oh. We should stop doing food things.
Oh,
Why don't we do
Yeah,
like
if
an
everyone
ice
has-
bath or something?
make sure
Yeah, if you
put
have
your
suggestions.
comments down and for other things we can do.
So
Other
I know
than,
we're just torturing each other.
oh, we might need a break from the food stuff.
I'm so sorry. You
Yeah.
look unwell.
That was it was pretty gross.
Ugh.
Yeah, definitely worse than the Halloween. So
Yeah.
this has been this episode, and we will see you guys next time, hopefully.
Unless James quits.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of losing. Bye.